In the summer of 2000, an anonymous letter arrived at the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office in Florida, accompanied by two photographs that would shake the world of cryptozoology to its core. The images showed a massive ape-like creature crouching in the darkness behind a backyard fence, its eyes reflecting the camera flash with an eerie orange glow. The letter writer, an elderly woman, claimed the creature had been raiding her garden for 3 consecutive nights, stealing apples from her back porch. She described an overpowering stench, like rotting garbage mixed with sulfur, that preceded each visit. The Sarasota Sheriff's Office logged the report, but never investigated. Those 2 photographs, now known as the Myakka skunk ape photos, remain among the most compelling cryptid images ever captured, and nobody in authority has ever explained what that creature was. The legend of the skunk ape stretches back far longer than most people realize. The earliest documented reports emerged in the 1960s from deep within the Florida Everglades, where hunters, fishermen, and Seminole tribal members described encounters with a large bipedal creature standing 6 to 7 feet tall, covered in dark reddish-brown hair. In 1966, residents near the town of Davie, Florida, reported a foul-smelling ape-like creature roaming through neighborhoods at night. By 1971, the sightings had intensified so dramatically that the Dade County Police Department formed a dedicated patrol to investigate reports along the Tamiami Trail. Officers documented over a dozen credible witness accounts in a single summer. The Seminole people had their own name for the creature. They'd known about it for generations, long before any European settler set foot in the swamps. Their elders spoke of it not as legend, but as fact. No one has pursued the skunk ape with more obsessive dedication than Dave Shealy, a Florida wildlife tracker who claims to have first seen the creature in 1974, when he was just 10 years old. Shealy says he was exploring the swamps near Okeechobee, Florida with his older brother Jack when they spotted a towering, hair-covered figure wading through the marsh. That childhood encounter defined the rest of his life. In 2000, the same year the Myakka photos surfaced, Shealy captured his own video footage of what he claimed was a skunk ape moving through the sawgrass of the Everglades. He went on to establish the Skunk Ape Research Headquarters on the Tamiami Trail, a combination research station and museum that has become ground zero for skunk ape investigation. Critics dismiss Shealy as a showman profiting from folklore, but Shealy has logged over 30 years of detailed field research, maintained meticulous sighting databases, and attracted the attention of serious primatologists who have visited his facility off the record. Here's where the story takes a darker turn. In 1977, a series of encounters near the Big Cypress National Preserve escalated from sightings to something far more disturbing. Multiple campers reported their tents being torn apart during the night by a creature that left behind massive footprints, 14 inches long with 5 distinct toes. Park rangers at Big Cypress National Preserve documented these incidents internally, but were allegedly instructed by National Park Service supervisors to attribute the damage to black bears. Former Ranger Vernon P. Yates, who served at Big Cypress from 1975 to 1983, later stated in a 1997 interview that he had personally cast 3 sets of footprints that did not match any known Florida wildlife. Yates claimed he submitted his casts and reports to the regional NPS office in Atlanta, Georgia. Those casts and documents have never been made publicly available. When pressed by researchers, the National Park Service denied any such reports existed in their archives. The physical evidence for the skunk ape is more substantial than skeptics want to admit. In 1997, a team of researchers from the University of Florida analyzed hair samples collected from a suspected skunk ape nest site in Collier County. The samples were sent to Dr. Henner Fehrenbach, a biomedical researcher at the Oregon Regional Primate Research Center who had spent years analyzing alleged Bigfoot hair. Fehrenbach determined that the Florida samples were primate in origin, but did not match the hair profile of any known primate species documented in North America. He published his findings, noting that the hair shared characteristics with orangutan hair, but displayed structural differences that defied classification. Meanwhile, in 2004, a trail camera near the Turner River Road in the Everglades captured an image of a large, dark, bipedal figure moving through dense undergrowth at approximately 3 in the morning. The camera's owner, a deer hunter, turned the image over to local media. It aired once on a Fort Myers news station and then was never shown again. Consider the ecology for a moment, because this is where dismissing the skunk ape becomes genuinely difficult. The Florida Everglades encompass over 1.5 million acres of virtually impenetrable subtropical wilderness. It is the largest tropical wilderness east of the Mississippi River. Vast sections remain completely unexplored by modern science. In 1999, researchers from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission discovered an entirely new species of crayfish in a remote section of the Everglades that had never been cataloged. In 2020, a Burmese python over 18 feet long was captured near Everglades National Park, part of an invasive population estimated at over 100,000 individuals that had been breeding undetected for decades. If a population of tens of thousands of massive snakes can establish itself in the Everglades without human detection for years, the question isn't whether a large primate could survive there. The question is why we're so certain one couldn't. The ecosystem provides year-round food sources, freshwater access, and endless cover from human observation. Now let's talk about what may be the most damning evidence of all. Evidence that points not just to the skunk ape's existence, but to an active effort to suppress it. In 2014, a Freedom of Information Act request filed by independent researcher Scott Marlowe revealed that the Florida Department of Environmental Protection had received no fewer than 47 formal skunk ape sighting reports between 1993 and 2010. Not one of these reports was ever forwarded to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission for investigation. Not a single one. Marlowe, who holds a degree in cryptozoology from the International Cryptozoology Society, discovered that internal DEP memos from 2003 contained explicit instructions to field staff to classify any large primate sighting reports under the category of misidentified black bear. The memo's author has never been identified. When Marlowe published these findings, his website was subjected to a coordinated cyber attack that took it offline for 3 weeks. He received 2 anonymous phone calls warning him to, quote, "leave the swamp alone." The pattern here is unmistakable. Somebody with institutional power does not want the skunk ape investigated. As of today, over 900 skunk ape sightings have been formally reported across southern Florida since the 1960s. Witnesses include law enforcement officers, park rangers, biologists, and Seminole tribal elders whose oral traditions describe the creature going back centuries. The Myakka photographs have never been debunked. Dr. Fehrenbach's hair analysis has never been refuted in peer review. 47 suppressed government reports sit in a filing cabinet somewhere in Tallahassee, gathering dust. The Florida Everglades remain one of the last truly wild places in America. Over 1 million acres of swamp, marsh, and forest where entire species have lived and died without ever being documented by science. Every year, new expeditions venture into the Everglades. Every year, they come back with more stories, more tracks, more evidence. And every year, the authorities say the same thing. There's nothing out there. But if there truly is nothing hiding in those swamps, then why is someone working so hard to make sure nobody looks? Something is living in those swamps, and decades of eyewitness testimony, photographs, and suppressed reports can't all be wrong. If this investigation made you question what's really hiding in the Everglades, hit that like button so more people can find the truth. Subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss an investigation, because the next time someone disappears in the Everglades, you might finally understand why.